Hi, welcome to INDE News. My name is Graham O'Brien, and the special report today, well, it seems what some said would never happen has. Nelson City Council has offered an apology to Hone Ma Heke, and Hone has offered his own apology to the Nelson people. The event began with a blessing from Kaumatua Andy Joseph, and followed by an introduction by CEO David Hammond.
Thanks for what we have achieved together. Increase our trust in one another. Strengthen our quest for justice. Clear away all the unnecessary thoughts, jealousy, envy and spite.
I'm David Hammond, I'm the Acting Chief Executive of Nelson City Council. I want to acknowledge those that are here today, particularly Hone. It's great that we've been able to work our way towards this day on a journey that we're with together. Me, Rachael and the council team, and Matua, Andy, and thanks Stephen for the use of your facility, and for everybody else for coming and being a witness to what is happening here. And this has been a journey. It didn't just start with the last 6 months. It started a long time before that, where we were working on apologies and the like. And so we've come to today with some really goodwill on Hone's part and on the council's part of, as I say, working towards a permanent solution to things that are going on. So we're a major way along that pathway. We're not there yet, but we're a major way along the pathway, which is really good.
All Saints Vicar Simon Martin spoke before Hone and the Mayor took the podium.
Every pathway to peace needs a moment like this, from which there is no turning back. There is no going back to the way we used to do things. And we are here to bear witness to that. This is good work. This is great work. This is God's work. This is the work that builds community. So I now invite Rachael and Hone to come and stand beside each other. Okay.
Tina kota katoa, tina koe matua, tina koe Hone. We're at the start of Advent, and this is as we head to the celebration of Christmas. There's a time of hope and joy and love, and it's also a time when we need to forgive and be tolerant. Nelson City Council apologises to Hone Ma Heke, Lewis Stanton, for the disrespectful manner in which he feels he's been treated over the years, particularly for the manner in which the blanket trespass was issued in 2011 and the tone of letters to Hone Ma Heke dating back to 2001. Council acknowledges that in speaking with Hone Ma Heke, these events are felt by him to be hurtful and disrespecting of a lifestyle that is valid for New Zealanders and has been a changing point in his life. Judge Zorab, in his decision on Hone Ma Heke's appeal, said quite clearly that Council's actions were not appropriate in issuing the blanket trespass notice. Council offers its apologies for the actions of any officials who may have taken action without fully considering the likely impacts for Hone Ma Heke and for the Nelson community. Council recognises the democratic right of any New Zealander to protest in a lawful manner, and also apologises to the Nelson community for the actions which have led to such a long-standing protest and contributed to polarising community views. Council recognises the right for people to live different lifestyles and the importance of a caring and embracing community. Kia ora.
It's a short and sweet one, but I would like to thank the current Mayor, Rachael, and councillors and staff at the Nelson City Council for their understanding and commitment to resolving the long running issues and dispute. I apologise to the members of the public and to Nelson businesses who were inconvenienced by my protest. I am also grateful for those who have supported me during my protest. Thank you all very much. It was never my intention to protest in the manner or in for the duration that I did. However, I was left with little choice after the actions of the council. It is also good to remember that today is a great day, like it has been said before, about the unification, the understanding and the commitment to resolving this and these issues and for the betterment of humanity. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
If Council has now in fact publicly accepted that they had played a part in contributing to this long-running dispute as ruled by a judge in one of the many cases on the issue of the blanket trespass notice, that it was unacceptable of Council to act in this manner, then the question must be asked, where is some accountability from Council's lawyers and administration who recommended this course of action? It would seem from the Mayor's apology to justify protesting as the only way for those with limited resources to seek some kind of justice from Council when it uses its near unlimited power and resources against a resident. However, it may strike some as hypocritical that Council has used Hone's protest to pass a city amenity bylaw that would stop anyone in the future from seeking the justice by right of similar intensive protest from restrictions now in place to prevent protesters from staying overnight. It is believed that Nelson now holds a dubious record for having the longest running single-person protest in New Zealand. INDE News went along to record the momentous occasion for prosperity and got some candid comments from lawyer Stephen Zindel, Mayor Reese and the man of the day, Hone Ma Heke. Truly an amazing day today for everybody, the city, Hone and councillors. Would you like to give us a few words about how you feel about it?
I think it's an important day in moving forward in the relationship that Nelson City Council has had with Hone over many years, and it's a sign of the respect that both parties have for the progress that we're making, and I think it's a very positive step for the whole community.
In your speech, it seems to give some justification to Hone's protest and that he'd been ill-treated or mistreated. Do you think with the amenity bylaw that you passed, it now restricts anyone in the future from doing such a protest and so gaining justice as well?
No, I think the bylaw is fully compliant with the Bill of Rights and the right to protest, and that was well covered by the council. So no, there's no issue there in relation to protest.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks very much, and thanks for everything.
Bye.
Stephen, it's been a long time. I think that life's stranger than fiction sometimes. You think you would have seen this happen in your lifetime?
I didn't think in my lifetime this would happen, and I'm really glad to have been made redundant as a lawyer in this case so far. 6 years, my longest running case, numerous little battles along the way, skirmishes, some we lost, some we won. Very thankful to the High Court a couple of times standing up for individual liberties, especially in the obstruction of footpath campaign, the parking ticket campaign. it's an amazing story. Hone's a real character, always been very respectful, high integrity, and I'm really glad to have acted for him, and I'm really glad that the council and him have seen fit to bury the hatchet today, and it's a good example of what can happen on the small scale, hopefully what will happen on the big scale in the world one day.
Hey, and you were involved with me with the amenity bylaw. Do you think like now that they've sort of justified the long-running protest, yet we still have this bylaw so that anyone in the future that comes up against this can't actually do the same thing?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The bylaw seems to have been partly brought about by Hone's actions, and then he voluntarily pulls up camp, so the bylaw didn't have to be used, and it's still a bit oppressive for other people. I noticed those planter boxes are in front of the shop windows, which technically would breach the bylaw, so on it goes. I guess the key thing is this particular problem's been solved, but I'd like to see draconian regulations like those bylaws repealed over time once the council feels a bit more secure.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Stephen. Hone, you had your big meeting yesterday. You've got your apology. It's been 6 years and 6 years coming. Must feel a bit surreal for you. How are you feeling today?
Oh, bloody brilliant, actually. It's really good because at least now we can get on with other things, and we now have an understanding and a commitment to be able to solve that problem.
And you really feel like the problem is actually nearly there to be solved?
Well, it's always been there to solve. It's just that now we have some good footing to be able to solve it.
Great. Well, hey, well done, and it really just justifies the protest that you did. That people with limited means have only one way to stand up and get justice.
That's right. Stand up and be counted.
Thanks very much.
Okay, mate.
INDE News understands that the cost of this whole saga has run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, an Official Information Act request under the last CEO, Claire Hadley, to find out the exact costs involved came back at $50,000. INDE News has now re-requested the final costings associated with Hone's protest and council's legal costs.